In this episode today, President Trump calls out Governor Gavin Newsom and the nonprofit called Fire Aid for their scam for not paying out to wildfire victims. Also, the mayor of New York City, Eric Adams, has been sued by the Department of Justice. We're going to get to both of these stories in this video, show you what both sides are saying, and give you the bottom line.
It's hundreds of millions of dollars for the victims. This money is for the victims. But when we looked into this, we found that there was a lot of money raised that has suddenly just disappeared. In one case, over $100 million was raised during a single celebrity-filled charity concert. So where did all that money go? We've learned that every penny raised went to a nonprofit called the Annberg Foundation, which is headquartered in Pennsylvania, which is 3,000 miles from Los Angeles. The foundation sent $50 million of that money to 120 different nonprofits. Turns out there's a lot of money in nonprofits. Not a single resident got a dollar. The head of this charity, Cynthia Kennard, makes over $700,000 a year plus a six-figure bonus. Cynthia is also close with Gavin Newsom and Karen Bass, which cannot be a coincidence. The question, though, still remains tonight, what happened to the other $50 million?
Yeah, see, this is the problem with California, and will always continue to be the problem with California, is that even though they have all this money to fix homelessness, to build a high-speed rail to nowhere, and of course, to deliver aid to fire victims, the money always seems to go missing in the end. This is exactly what happened with homelessness. They couldn't even audit the program to figure out what happened to the money. I'm not shocked. If you grow up in California, you're used to this already. Now, here's what the president had to say. Fire aid is a total disaster. Looks like another Democrat-inspired scam. $100 million is missing. What's supposed to go to the Los Angeles fire victims? Fires that with proper management would have never even happened. Governor Newsom refused to release billions of gallons of water from Northern California and the Pacific Northwest. And what a difference it would have made. I've since overruled him, and it is now released. All federal housing permits have also been approved. The city is years late. Get the fire victims their approvals to rebuild and do it now. And in my opinion, this is turning into a scandal because homeowners are speaking out about that event and how they haven't even received a dollar. Take a look.
Everyone, please go to fireaidla.org and give what you can. All of the money raised will go directly to people who need it now.
That's how Fire Aid sold itself to millions of viewers, a benefit concert for wildfire victims. Today, many have doubts.
I think they'd be very disappointed.
David Howard lost 2 homes in the Palisades.
I have not seen any benefit from the Fire Aid money, nor have, and I'm very involved, nor my friends and neighbors.
Go to the website and give what you can. All the money that's raised will go directly to people who need help.
Fire Aid's website says the concert raised $100 million for direct relief. Yet it told Fox LA, Fire Aid does not have the capability to make direct payments to individuals, and that was never the plan. We partnered directly with trusted local nonprofits to reach communities in need.
Did you think that you would actually get direct money?
I did, as with, I'm sure, most Altadenians. The fire aid was for us, so we figured, where's the money? Where's it going?
Turns out 75 of the $100 million so far went to 188 nonprofits, receiving grants of up to $500,000 each. Several told us exactly how many fire victims they served. Others could not or declined to answer. At least $6.5 million in donor money also went to LA County government programs.
Yeah, that is just a shame. Now, speaking of scams, you got to hear this important message from today's sponsor, Aura. Now, here's the interesting thing. Democrats still want you to panic about Doge having access to your personal data. But let's be real, it's not the government you should be worried about. It's the professional hackers who have already stolen millions of identities and are weaponizing it. That's why I use Aura, a full security system for my digital life. VPN, credit monitoring, identity theft protection, and parental controls all in one. That's why when I signed up, I found my info, full name, email, even parts of my social security number already on the dark web. And Aura didn't just flag it, but they removed it. And that's why I've got 24/7 monitoring, fewer spam calls, and real-time alerts on my bank accounts. Whether you're trying to stay anonymous or just protect what's yours, Aura has your back. So just go to aura.com/Savory for a 14-day free trial and take back your digital freedom today. Listen, I'm not surprised by this. This is exactly what I would expect from nonprofits. I would expect this from groups who definitely lean left. They claim they're all about victims, but they're really all about padding their pockets. And there's history to prove what I'm saying. Just look at Kamala Harris's election campaign. How many people got rich off her running to be the next president of the United States, only to utterly fail, which we knew was going to happen. But it didn't matter to people that lean left, okay? They're in it for the money, and that's exactly what happened with this event.
Two groups told Fox they received money but never applied for it.
My whole house, everything gone.
FireAid recruited Mark Jones to appear in its fundraiser, and he thought he'd get help.
I was actually expecting to some type of reach out or something to let us know that we're here to help you. And I've been searching and trying to figure that out since.
Congressman Kevin Kiley wants an investigation, although there is no evidence of fraud.
We need to get to the bottom of where this money is going.
FireAid says it elected to get the money out quickly and did not have the infrastructure to handle direct payments to individuals. Critics say maybe so, but argue many victims were not told where and how to access the aid. And while there's no evidence of deception, many want an accounting of exactly how that $100 million was spent.
Well, that's easy to know how the money was spent. It was sent to these nonprofits. They obviously pocket the money. Now, some of them did help victims, which is a phenomenal thing. And that's what I would hope for each and every one of them. But let's get real. Human beings are flawed. And there's definitely people who were gaming the system, just like in every other tragedy that happens in our country. So, again, I'm not surprised by this. Now, if you guys could recall the woman who confronted Governor Newsom when he lied to her face to say that he was on the phone with the president. I don't know if you guys recall that. She's from the Pacific Palisades. Well, she was just on Newsmax continuing to expose the governor. Take a look at this.
Where did the money go? Let's follow the trail that you just described, because so far I haven't received a penny. Not a single person I know in the Palisades has received a penny. And I think a lot of the organizations that you're even referring to that have received them, I don't think they even have any sort of direct relationship or correlation whatsoever with the Palisades or any fire victims. Where did they go? They went to 120 nonprofit organizations that you described. Many of them literally have no direct connection to fire or the fire victims. I mean, they're going into climate equity programs. They're going to resilience initiatives. And as you mentioned, academic institutions probably that are very well connected. That's where I'm reading the funds are going. Yeah. Has anyone asked Governor Newsom, has he asked where has the money gone? Has Karen Bass asked where has the money gone? No, I mean, both have actually praised. They have praised FireAid publicly. Neither has demanded a single audit. No one has asked the obvious questions. Why didn't the victims receive their money? That's what we're dealing with here.
Yeah, exactly. And they probably will never receive their money because let's be honest, Governor Newsom, Karen Bass, and the rest of them, what do they spend 90% of their time doing? Attacking President Trump. It's like Newsom lives on X at this point. He has to respond to every post from Rapid 47 or the president. He just can't help himself. He's all over the country at this point. He's on every single podcast. And for what exactly? How is that helping the people of California? Oh, yeah, that's right. It's not. It's helping himself. And this is what he had to say in response to the president. He basically is saying that he's lying. He says FireAid is not a state organization and the governor had no role in it, but its impacts have been widely reported. So if FireAid is not a state organization, okay, that's not what we're saying here. What we're saying is people did not receive any money. Why are you not in front of a camera demanding accountability on that? Then he says that the whole state water reservoir thing is a lie. That's not a lie either. One of the reservoirs were definitely empty. That's recorded history, so there's nothing to debate there. And finally, there's no such thing as federal housing permit. They have been approved, but they do not exist. At the end of the day, the results show that people have not been able to recover in the way that you, as the governor, promised that they would. You said it would be made easy. You said that they would get the help they need, and they haven't. And that's not my opinion. That's the people who actually went through this.
Now, more than 6 months later, dwindling public and private resources for the thousands of residents forced to start new lives right after the new year. The Palisades and Eaton fires destroyed about 16,000 homes, sparking a wildfire of lawsuits. Palisades victims are going after the city of LA over the fire response and the lack of water. And Eaton victims are targeting SoCal Edison, armed with evidence the utility's equipment may be linked to the start of the fire. Well, this week, SoCal Edison announced a wildfire recovery compensation program to help Altadena residents. That brought many questions about the fine print at this gathering of lawyers and victims who are still intent on taking SoCal Edison to court.
So in the end, I hope that the people get exactly what they need because they deserve it. It's unfortunate the governor doesn't think that way because, again, he spends his time on X saying things like this. A top President Trump ally handed me a Trump 2028 hat. These people aren't joking. If we don't stop this anti-democracy movement now, the 2028 election may look nothing like what we expect in a free country. And he also went on to accuse President Trump of trying to steal the 2026 midterm. So all of this really is irrelevant at the end of the day because it's all just talk and political theater. And that is the bottom line to this story. And now we're on to the next one, which is Mayor Eric Adams has been sued by the Department of Justice for his sanctuary city policies, which he claims has kept New York safe. We know that is a lie and a joke. But before I give you my opinion, let's hear more on this now. Take a look.
New legal troubles for New York City Mayor Eric Adams. The Justice Department is suing the country's largest city, Mayor Adams, and other city leaders over sanctuary immigration policies. The DOJ alleging the sanctuary laws have interfered with federal immigration enforcement, allowing dangerous people to commit crimes in the city. But Mayor Adams disputes that, saying sanctuary policies have made the Big Apple safer. Earlier this week, the city of Louisville, Kentucky dropped its sanctuary policies. So how will the Big Apple respond?
Well, I could tell you how he should have been responding. What he should have been doing is getting these criminals off his streets as the mayor of New York City, especially in a year where he's trying to keep his job. I just find that to be fascinating. New Yorkers do not want to see people being burned alive on the subway, women being raped on the subway and robbed, and not to mention all the other crime that has happened because of these gangs from individuals who have no business being in our country to begin with.
ICE officials here in New York City have been targeting undocumented migrants for months, as we have been reporting here, with little to no help, they say. And that is what has forced the Department of Justice to get involved and file this lawsuit to try and get the backup that they say that they need. Now, the Justice Department says New York City's laws are, as you mentioned, obstructing ICE operations, especially when it comes to detainer requests. And by federal rules, ICE can ask local police to hold somebody up to 48 hours after they are supposed to be released. But New York law blocks that unless there is a federal judicial warrant. Now, this is really interesting. From the lawsuit, we pulled this stat. According to city data, the Department of Correction has honored just 4% of ICE detainers last year, and city records show the NYPD has not honored a single one since the year 2016.
See, results tell the story since 2016. And that is really unfortunate because, again, I sound like a broken record. Why is it so difficult that if you, as a local police department, arrest an illegal alien who has committed a crime in our country, you can't even hand them over to ICE? They shouldn't even be here in the first place. And that's what the law says. That's not somebody's opinion or, the political ideology. That is the Constitution. So it just is so frustrating when you continue to hear not only the victims, but the crime. It could easily be avoided. That doesn't mean all crime will be eradicated, but it could definitely be minimized, to say the least. Now, here is Tom Homan and what he had to say.
Sanctuary cities are sanctuaries for criminals. Hard stop. Bottom line, that's what it is. And President Trump made a commitment a couple weeks ago that we're going to prioritize sanctuary cities. I made a statement the other day about New York. We're going to flood the zones. The sanctuary cities are going to get exactly what they don't want. More agents in the communities and more worksite enforcement. Why is that? Because they won't let one agent arrest one bad guy in the jail.
And this is exactly what independents and Democrats need to listen to. They're too busy being caught up in headlines that tug on your heartstrings. And some of these stories are dramatic. You know, when you hear the Maryland man or the American citizen child who had cancer, this is what the media does to people with repetition. So if you're not willing to actually see the full picture, do your own research, you'll easily get caught up in that and believe that what President Trump is doing in his administration is unlawful, but it's not.
And New York City Mayor Eric Adams, meanwhile, says these policies are about trust, not defiance. His office releasing a statement saying this, quote, "No one should be afraid to dial 911, send their kids to school, or go to the hospital, and no New Yorker should feel forced to hide in the shadows." Still, Homan announcing ICE is going to flood the zone, as you heard him say there, after what happened in the city last week, where an off-duty ICE officer was shot in the face by two men. One of them has an ICE detainer on him right now. The other has a criminal record, and they want to prevent anything like that from ever happening again. So off they go to, quote, flood the zone.
Yeah, see, I'm of the opinion that these sanctuary cities are not rooted in actual safety for the community. I think these sanctuary cities were launched to begin with because of money. This is a way for cities and states to receive money from the federal government, which they're always for. And secondly, it's still going on today because they want to fight against President Trump. It is not about the safety for these communities and especially the neighborhood. So that's just the way that I see it. Now, Mike Lawler, who's the congressman out of New York, here is what he had to say. Take a look.
But the simple fact is this: sanctuary states and cities should not exist. It is a violation of federal law. The president is absolutely correct, and the administration is right to take legal action to try and hold these states and cities accountable. You cannot interfere with the ability of immigration and customs officials to enforce federal immigration law. We have a lot of challenges. The administration has done a very good job of securing the border, stopping the influx that occurred under Joe Biden. We have net zero illegal immigration into the country over the last 2 months because of what they're doing. But what we have seen is cities like New York refusing to cooperate to deport criminal aliens from our country. And as a result, you just saw the shooting of off-duty Customs and Border Patrol agents, and it's absolutely wrong.
As I predicted, Democrats did not come out publicly and condemn the heinous behavior from the illegal alien who shot the Border Patrol agent in the face. We haven't heard anything on that side of the aisle in regards to that. That's number one. Number two, sanctuary cities, and I agree with the congressman, they should not exist. It's just fascinating. They just won't accept it at this point. We know the money's no longer flowing. So now what are they going to do? And now it takes me to your guys' opinion in the comment section below. What do you think about both of these stories, starting with Gavin Newsom and the ridiculous stuff that's going on with Fire Aid, which was another scam, and how people who were expected to receive money never received the dollar. So it's not my opinion here. What do you make of that? And what do you think is going to happen in the end? And then, of course, sanctuary cities. I assume I know the way that you feel about it. But do you think suing Mayor Eric Adams is the right move? And do you believe sanctuary cities will fail to survive over the next 3.5 years? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Now, in breaking news, Ghislaine Maxwell met with the DOJ for a second time today. And it is also being reported that she has been given limited immunity. Now, we dive deep into this story to answer the question, will President Trump issue her a pardon? If you guys are interested in that story, all you have to do is click on that video because it's coming up right now.